in the world, the most comprehensive formula in the world, and the one that absolutely over the years has become the #1 seller, most reordered, certainly most beloved CoQ10 product. Andrew,
it's our number one, our most popular Today Special, and it's that reason that over the years, not just the science in terms of, say, the relationship of CoQ10 with vitamin C, and CoQ10 with B-complex and B12, but today, offering the free vitamin D if you choose to add it, because CoQ10 is our most popular product. And it's very interesting. If you went back, say, 25, 30 years, vitamin C was our most popular separate ingredient, followed by our B-complex. Our B12 is the most popular separate ingredient. And recently, vitamin D is our most popular separate ingredient. But because we include those, we now bundle them in. We don't have additives. We just add other active ingredients. Because we bundle them in for free with our CoQ10, I've basically made vitamin C not a very popular product anymore. From a business standpoint, maybe that's a bad strategy. From a health standpoint, it makes this the best CoQ10 in the world. So we start with the finest CoQ10, and then we make sure, and I've said this before, the more important a single ingredient becomes, the more dependent it becomes on other ingredients. It might sound counterintuitive, but if you really think about it, the more important it is, the more it bears on countless reactions and processes in your body. So it has to be dependent on other components. That is why we make sure that our CoQ10 kind of leaves no stone unturned, that no matter what your status is before you get it, your status will be better because you make sure that all the components that CoQ10 needs to do its job are there. In fact, we give you all the components necessary to synthesize CoQ10 on your own as well. So not only do we give you 200 milligrams of the best CoQ10, we give you the nutrients necessary for you to produce CoQ10 more efficiently, which most of us struggle with as we get older.
So we're gonna dig in as much as we possibly can. If you're watching in the last airing, you'll know we are now down to the wire in what remains. It's our most popular Today's Special of the year. So we're sitting now at 46,000 sold. I have about 3,500 to 4,000 left total. I wanna go through the options and the choices that we've got tonight and why it's been so popular. And we'll talk a lot about fatigue, we'll talk about mood, we'll talk about eyes, we'll talk about brain, we'll talk about a lot of things. If you're somebody that reaches for the caffeine or the sugar to kind of pick you up, you gotta try CoQ10. It will change your life. I take 2 per day and now I'll never, ever, ever be without it. It gave me so much more. So many times I get out of bed, I was tired before I even had my first, piece of toast. Let me show you. If you're ordering tonight, and if you do only buy 1 item today, it has to be this, without question, without question. 50, 100, 200, or 400. Normally the largest size that Andrew does is a 240, so these are special sizes. This is expensive, everybody, because the ingredients are the best in the world. Let's take the 600 caps as an example. $400 is what the price would be, $400. If you order it right now before it sells out, the price is $169.90, so it saves you $230. So we're saving substantially more than we're spending. Andrew mentioned vitamin D3. Now let me explain. Andrew is offering another choice, which includes 1,000 IU or 2,000 IU of vitamin D3. It's free, F-R-E-E, free. There's no charge. So let me explain. Let's take the 600 caps again. Now, because we're including vitamin D3, well, the price goes to $507. Your price stays the same. Now, I'm willing to guess that you and me maybe are not getting enough vitamin D3, which is why most people are saying, okay, sign me up, I want the 600 caps, and I want it with 2,000 IU of vitamin D3. That saves you an astonishing $338. However, we are now down, if I'm looking at just that one option, the most popular option, we're in the hundreds in terms of what's left. Today's the day where you say, I'm gonna make a change, I'm gonna start something new, I'm gonna feel better. And maybe that's the 2 key words, feeling better. Fatigue is something that plagues us all. And we're under attack as we get older. We learned that in the last hour. CoQ10, our levels of CoQ10, what we need in our body for our cells to have a better life. That popular phrase at the moment is live your best life. With CoQ10, I certainly am living mine. So, Andrew, there's so much that you covered. There were things that I learned were positively impacted that I didn't even know before.
Well, I think most of us don't realize the role that CoQ10 plays in our body. I think, you know, you hear a lot of sort of radio ads or TV ads, they're little spot ads for CoQ10. They might talk about how it's certain medications or drugs, like statin drugs for cholesterol reduction, lowers our inherent CoQ10 levels. But they don't discuss the role that CoQ10 plays in our body. And what's fascinating about CoQ10, its unique ability to transfer electrons. That's why it's critical for energy production, because energy production is basically the movement of electrons. But also, damage to our tissues. Damage to our tissues usually involves the movement of electrons. So CoQ10's ability to interrupt that negative movement of electrons makes it one of the most protective molecules in our body. So when we're talking about our skin, as I was reading the science before, and talking about our skin, that levels of CoQ10 are incredibly important for protecting our skin, and talked about reducing wrinkles and things like that. It does it twofold, both because healthy skin has significant energy requirements, and obviously CoQ10 is central to the creation of the energy. And again, this is another concept that I think we sometimes forget about with our bodies. We live in a world of distributed energy. What do I mean by that? That in our homes, we receive power from a power plant. This facility where we are today in the studio, we receive power from a power plant. Our body, every cell has its own independent requirement of producing energy. And that little picture, that little blue image there, that's a mitochondrion. That mitochondrion is what in every one of our cells is responsible for producing energy. We have 100 trillion cells. In those cells are thousands of mitochondria. So what is that? Quadrillions of mitochondria. And CoQ10 is doing its work, moving those electrons, making the energy that we experience. But CoQ10 also, it's ubiquitous. Ubiquitous means it's everywhere. In fact, its chemical name is ubiquinone, because it has to be everywhere. Because if it is not everywhere, that cell can't be alive. It is so critical and synonymous with survival, with life, with energy, that without it, life and energy don't exist. So CoQ10's other unique property, not just moving those electrons to create the energy we experience, but capturing electrons that otherwise would be damaging to us. It is one of the ultimate incredible inventions of our blueprint. So it's not, I'm not the one, CoQ10 isn't an incredible product because I invented it. It's an incredible product because someone else invented it. I'm just making, I think, our best version of it. Because as important as CoQ10 is, I don't leave it on its own. I make sure it gives you all the other components it needs to do the work it deserves and that you want it to do. And CoQ10, when it has all of those components, then it can really shine. And I was looking at the reviews before. It's a product that are 96% of the reviews are positive, 85% of the reviews are 5-star reviews, over 90% are 4- and 5-star reviews. And just even if you look at those reviews, out of 4,022 reviews, this I thought was amazing, 1,345 reviews spoke to the product as either being great or the results of being great. 1,123 reviews said they loved the product. That's out of 4,000, so 25% of the reviews said they loved the product. 1,048 said thanks or thank you. 928 spoke about increased energy and improved energy. And that's really the key that you see in the reviews. So it's a product that not only is the science compelling in CoQ10, it is compelling because that's what CoQ10 is. But when you experience it, that's the best opportunity of all, and you get a 100-day money-back guarantee all the way till the end of January.
It's the best pricing ever. I mean, it's the best pricing in the history of the product, and we'll kind of review some of the pricing from back in the day when we first started to air it, but the reality is it is the best in the world. And that's just not me saying it, that's if you compare this to any CoQ10 out there, any, there's no comparison. If you already take CoQ10, please try this. It's better, it is better. And if you don't take CoQ10, this is the day where everything changes for the better for you. So pricing at this stage, you know, honestly, folks, I wish I could tell you that there was good news here in terms of what remains, but really final few hundred across the board. Nearly 50,000 are now reserved. So you're gonna be able to get it, but you'll be one of our final customers. At midnight, this will not be available. it will be completely sold out. I want to urge you to go for the 600 caps. I take 2 a day, you probably will as well. It's a $400 value that we're offering at $169, saves you $230. Do it with the vitamin D3 if you want to. It's free. I've never been able to say that before, but it's free. You don't have to get the vitamin D3 with it, but you can, and that pushes the price to $507, but your price still stays the same at $169. And that's not even the half of it. We're also, don't forget, if you really look at some of the supporting ingredients, look at the prices. Andrew, there's a $300 value there.
And that's, again, that's the 600 capsule supply we're just using as an example.
Yeah.
Whatever supply you choose, 400, 200, it's all going to be the same, where basically any one of those individual bonus ingredients would have already justified the purchase without even contemplating the value of the most expensive ingredient, which is the CoQ10. And I try to make it, I try to make this, because it is my most popular product, I try to make it too good to be true, meaning that you're getting all of the components that would bear on the efficacy of CoQ10, meaning we don't want you to get your CoQ10 and then because you don't have sufficient levels of certain B vitamins or B12 in particular, and certainly vitamin D. If you look at how insufficient or deficient CoQ10 becomes with aging, you're looking at the same thing with vitamin D. 80 to 100% of Americans who aren't supplementing will be insufficient or deficient with vitamin D, and pretty close to the same numbers with B12. So how could one possibly hope to experience all of the glory, all of the benefits that is CoQ10, when we know our set stage, our circumstances already are compromising its efficacy because of a lack of vitamin D, a lack of B12 or other nutrients? We don't take that risk. We make sure you're getting everything you need. I was going to read some charts because we've talked earlier, I went through charts on eye health and how CoQ10 levels plummet dramatically with age in the retina of our eye, which could contribute to those age-related changes in our eye. I talked about the skin and wrinkling of our skin and how CoQ10 has been observed to help reduce, when you get adequate levels of CoQ10, the skin can protect itself better, and it reduces the signs of wrinkling. We talked about our heart, we talked about our liver, cardiovascular system, that CoQ10 is indispensable to the optimal functioning of these organs that never rest, our brain. But then we talked about the gums, that if there's any ingredient that's central to the health of the gums in our mouth, it's CoQ10.
Right.
But here's another one. So we just have all these charts. I've hardly scratched the surface. The Journal of Neuroscience, we also show that the systemic administration of a CoQ10 analog increases the cochlear defense system against oxidative stress. The cochlea is in our
ear.
Very good. That was a little test. That was very good.
Bead of sweat formed then, jeez.
And when we hear loud noises and things like that, our cochlear stress, these findings indicate that antioxidant treatment restores auditory, talking about CoQ10, auditory cortical neuronal morphology and hearing function by reducing the noise-induced redox imbalance. Reduction oxidation imbalance in the cochlea, and the deafferentiation affects upstream the acoustic pathway. Basically, CoQ10 helps to protect the ear and helps the ear recover from damage from loud noises.
Thank you for translating that for me.
Deafferentiation, wow.
Big word.
The Journal of Neuroscience, in conclusion, our findings show that cochlear and cortical stress is ameliorated, improved by the administration of CoQ10, supporting the notion that NIHL, what I was saying before, noise-induced hearing loss, is strongly related to altered equilibrium processes and loss of energetic capacity to meet an oxidative challenge. And that's what goes back to what we keep talking about CoQ10. It meets the energetic challenges. It also meets the oxidative challenges. It meets both. It's a unique molecule in that regard. Then there's just the one chart that I love. It was reported that animals supplemented, looking at a large number of species, on coenzyme Q10 may reach a significantly longer mean lifespan, average lifespan, 11.7% higher, and a significantly higher maximum lifespan, 24% higher, and increased learning capacity than non-supplemented animals, suggesting that a long-term supplementation with a small dosage of CoQ10 may represent a good anti-aging therapy. So beyond all the studies about fatigue, beyond all the studies about cardiovascular health and health of the heart. And it's one of the first things, if you're working with your cardiologist, if you're trying to do things to support your heart's health, taking certain medications, I highly recommend, especially statin drugs, which lower CoQ10. So you take statin drugs for heart health to lower cholesterol, it undermines, those drugs undermine heart health by lowering CoQ10 levels. So again, for all of us, whatever the issue might be, if our heart, our liver are already communicating to us that they would like our support, CoQ10 is the most common sense supplement to offer that support.
Folks, I do want to apologize in advance. Our presentation has been trimmed even more. We're 8 minutes or sell out. So our clock is now counting down. We were hoping to spend as much of this hour as we could. They've had to trim it way back, guys. This is a last opportunity call for 2019. This will not be available again with this type of price reduction. The most premium, expensive, important ingredients, the largest size, over $500 value down to $169.90. So you see our clock ticking down. There are no more presentations. Please dial in now if you want it. There are over 1,000 people ordering, so we're playing that balancing act of there's a lot of folks there and there's not many left. So go to the phone now or go online at hsn.com. I won't get another chance, so I'll say it one last time. For 2019, this is the best pricing ever. If you order right now, before it's sold out, what you'll be able to do is choose any one of the sizes. The larger sizes are special sizes for today, $269.90 down to $139.90, 600 caps.
And tomorrow, the 600 and 400 count go away.
Right.
The normal large size is 240 capsules, and that's normally around $159. So it's basically the size of the 600 count. And again, as I said, and this is not meant to, just in case it's an important data point for you, something to consider, that next year's Today's Special, I'm not sure we'll be able, I hope we can. I will do everything possible. But I just received within a week of today, probably a week or 10 days ago, I received a communication telling me, and I refuse to believe it, that CoQ10 cost is going to double. I refuse to believe that the various factors affecting it are going to affect it to that large a degree. But just so everyone knows that I consider the pricing we have now on CoQ10, even if it didn't include the vitamin C, the B12, the B-complex, and the vitamin D, I consider it to be, it's 90% less than when I introduced it 35 years ago. 90% less. So to me, it's absolutely crazy. I would have never dreamed in my wildest dreams of being able to offer a CoQ10 product like this at this price, even close to this price, let alone on its own without all the other added ingredients. So I'm just hoping this will be able to continue through 2020, and you can count on me, as I always have done, to make sure we make it as efficiently as possible so our CoQ10 continues to be an incredible bargain.
I don't say this because Andrew stood 3 feet away from me. I say it because it's the truth, but I've never ever known anybody who is more concerned about your satisfaction and bringing the cost down to as minimal as it needs to be while still delivering the finest possible product. So I appreciate knowing the facts. Now, please God, it does not double in price next year, but whatever happens to it, the exciting news is today, it's the best price it's ever been.
Yeah, and it to me, again, to rule of thumb, back in the day when we introduced CoQ10, it's about per 100 milligrams, it was going to be $1 or so. So a 200 milligram product would be over $2 or so. Right. The math isn't difficult. 600 capsules, $2 or so. Back in the day, that would have meant this is then when you had vitamin C or B-complex, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 product.
Look, right there.
And then that was before vitamin D, so $1,500 product. So that was the price here less than 20 years ago.
Unbelievable.
So it just shows the lengths we've gone, or I've gone. And quite a lot of, I've got very good at arm twisting, but it's just, I figure that I'm negotiating on your behalf. Maybe when I negotiate on my behalf, I'm not as quite as diligent, but it's funny, even back in the day when I was a lawyer, I was always a better advocate for someone else than I was for myself. So when it comes to CoQ10, I will do everything I possibly can to continue to make this ingredient, which is our most important single product, to continue to make it just ridiculously affordable. CoQ10 on its own at this price would be amazing. The fact that you could also get 2,000 or 1,000 IU on top of it, more amazing. The fact that every capsule comes with 300 milligrams of our non-acidic vitamin C, even more amazing. And then if you look at the world's most sophisticated B-complex, with our special form of folate, with our special B12 that is actually beneficial when you take it orally, it makes that investment of a few pennies. I think it's about 25 cents or so on the large size and just a little bit more as the sizes get smaller. It makes it just an incredible, incredible value. And I only wish it was something we could do year round, but it's something we just get to do this one special day.
It's $400, or with the vitamin D3, over $500 that you're getting at $169. And beyond the value, beyond the amazing offer, remember this. The way we feel, the way we act, our mood, our temperament, our eyes, our body, the energy, you'll see it. So forget the money a second. Normally, you're gonna see results in just a few days, but you've right now got 4 months nearly. So we're talking October, November, December, and January to start seeing and feeling the difference that the finest CoQ10 in the world can do for you. If you don't feel so much better, you can return it to us, but don't let the chance pass you by.
There wouldn't be a reason to. I mean, this is a product that beyond the CoQ10, just getting the vitamin D, just getting the vitamin C, just getting the B-complex and B12, it will transform your blood test. If your doctor is like mine, and we look at my vitamin D, we look at my B12, we look at my key nutrients, because they affect how you feel, then this is going to transform, as I've read in earlier reviews, it's going to transform your blood work. So it's an opportunity to make a difference. As I always say, it is the most affordable and common sense energy product, because typical energy products cost a few dollars per dose. And whether it's going to be those energy drinks or whatever it might be, caffeine, it's going to cost a few dollars. Even just a basic cup of coffee is $1.
Right.
So this is a product that when it comes to energy, it's not just stimulating your brain and a few hours later you're gone, or that you're getting a sugar rush and a few hours later it's gone. This is giving each and every one of the hundreds of trillions of cells in your body their most critical. They all share this trait in common. This is the most critical ingredient that they rely on, that they require to produce the energy that is your experience. We're a collective. We might think of ourselves as an individual, but we're a collective of 100 trillion cells. And the way we experience life, and we find this out when our organs might struggle or tissues might struggle, the way we experience life is the collective experience of all of those cells. And this is the most important single ingredient, with a whole team behind it that we provide, but the most important single ingredient, making sure those cells can experience the energy they need so you can experience the quality of life that you desire.
The most important single ingredient. For those of us that watch Andrew and don't quite know, should I get this one, this one, this one, all of them, the most important single ingredient, this one right here. If you don't know what to take this one. Order our Coenzyme Q10 and you are going to be in very good company. I mentioned we started with around 50,000. You can see how many we've sold and therefore roughly how many are left. I encourage you to take advantage of the offer that's there. We've loaded in additional quantity on all the sizes. We would have been sold out. And now we're just going through the additional capsules that we manufacture. So there might be a little delay when you receive it, but if you're ordering right now, but we're talking a very little delay because we immediately will be shipping to HSN before the end of this week, and they'll probably be shipping to you before the end of the next week. So you get a product from us within 2 weeks, because it's also, most times when you see a lot of products that have tremendous discounts on it like this does, it's kind of a clearing thing. They're clearing out clearance stock or clearance of inventory. This product, in fact, this new label, which I love, by the way,
this new label didn't exist 2 months ago. It didn't even exist. So I was designing this label. Actually, my brother-in-law, Don Leeds, my brother-in-law and I designed this label.
Wonderful.
So that's our new label, and Ed Moss, of course, in our creative department at ProCap. So that's our new label. So this is all brand new, fresh. We don't make things and then clear them out. This is something that was made specially for this event. And I would say there wasn't a capsule of this produced probably as little as just a few weeks ago. that it was just all produced in the last few weeks. So everything you're going to be getting is brand new, fresh, probably fresher than some of the produce you get at your grocery store. I say sometimes joking around, but maybe not so joking around.
It's true, though. Yes. It's not sat on a shelf forever. And it occurs to me just now, we've not talked about the solar power facility in Henderson, Nevada, or Vitamin Angels, where Andrew and his team give back. There's just so much that goes into it. It's a wonderful product.
And just everyone should know that everything they're getting, all of my products are 100% pure, additive-free, the only products in the world. They're also made in an all-solar-powered facility, so our manufacturing has no carbon footprint whatsoever. So whether you care about just the environment or climate change, we're as responsible, or I think the most responsible manufacturer in the world because of how we go about producing our products. And then for every bottle of vitamins you get, it varies throughout the year. We sometimes donate 2 bottles of prenatal vitamins, sometimes 4 bottles of prenatal vitamins.